Hey guys, Jengar here. Welcome to today's realistic review in which we are taking a look at the Focke-Wulf 190 D-9 sitting at 5.3 battle rating in the German line. This is an all-time favorite of mine, but the favoritism comes from AB, my old AB days. I still have 28,000 kills in AB from my old days, years and years and years ago. I had a lot of fun in the plane in AB, but I made the transition to RB at a certain point, but I didn't quite touch this plane. I only flew it out 5 matches with a 1-to-1 kill-death ratio, 5 kills, 5 deaths. I was terrible in RB in those days. I was playing on a toaster, and well, never seemed to have touched it again, never got around to it. But I felt it was time to take a look at this plane. I heard a lot of changes happen to the Doras, and I wanted to see what was up. What is the plane now? I can say that after flying it a bit, she is a boom and zoomer, almost purely. She can energy fight as well, though she is quite nice in the energy fighting. But for example, she is not very nice at lower speed, so she's not too great at stall maneuvers. She's very sluggish when she's below 300 kilometers an hour, and thus turning around for the final approach when you have stalled somebody out is going to be a little bit of a struggle in this plane, and sometimes makes you come too late. But all in all, the plane is quite good at boom and zooming. Being fast is one of the specialties in this plane. Now, how fast exactly is this plane? She is definitely fast in the maximum speeds in this plane at sea level. Without WEP are 550 kilometers an hour, and with WEP 587 kilometers an hour. At 4,500 meters, she will run up to 489 kilometers an hour without WEP and 524 with WEP. And finally, at 6,500 meters, she'll go up to 460 without WEP and 475 with WEP. Now, those speeds are quite good, and she is competitive in the speed department. That's very nice. This is also supported in a dive. That is where the main strength of this plane lies. 867 kilometers an hour before she redlines, and 930 plus before she rips apart. I have not managed to rip this plane. It's very difficult, even from 9,000 meters, to get this plane above 930. The acceleration really starts to slow down on the higher speeds. When you get low to the ground, for some reason it starts to slow, and thus it's very difficult to rip the plane up. So you can basically dive with impunity and do your thing. And she's very nice at it. Control stiffening has 2 ticks that I noticed. In the early speeds, 500 kilometers an hour and 600. After that she stays good for a long time, and then at around 800 you feel another little tick. But compared to other planes, she stays reasonably functional in the roll rate. The elevator authority is still enough to get out of the dive, but in turns, for sustained turns, the elevator authority really is bad. It's not good. Turning is no more than average, and even with flaps, and I would say below average without flaps for a plane at this battle rating. So she's not very good in turning, but she is excellent in rolling. She has excellent roll rate, and that is fantastic because that gives you nice control in defensive maneuvers. The only thing is that her rolls seem kind of flat because you do not have much elevator authority. You will have difficulties making a lot of movement in those rolls. You roll, yeah, but the elevator you also need it for getting out of harm's way. But anyway, a stall speed in the plane is 160 kilometers an hour, which is average. It's nothing spectacular, especially at this battle rating. Other planes either have the same or they're better. There's not many planes above 160. 170 happens regularly as well, though. The firepower is very good, with 2 20mm MG151 cannons, 250 rounds for those guns, supported by 2 13mm MG131s with 450 rounds per gun. You also can equip bomb loads on this plane, although that is not really something recommended because this plane does have decent climb rate, but if you put on the bomb loads, she'll quickly go down to average. in the climb rate, and that is not something you want. You want to use the climb rate this plane has to get her to the position she has to be in. And that is a position to boom and zoom from. Now, what is the performance in this plane? Acceleration in a straight line is very good. In a dive, it is good. Energy retention also in the horizontal, great. When you come out of a dive and you have to hold speed, she holds the speed very nicely, especially with war emergency power. She loses the speed very, very slowly, and thus you can often escape from Russians easily, from the British often as well, and Americans are often the problem, but you can match many planes. There's very few planes that can outspeed it. There's planes that can match it, plenty, but planes that can outspeed it, not so much. And well, that is an advantage to have. So energy retention in the horizontal is great. In the vertical, it's also great. You get that climb rate it doesn't support very well the great vertical energy retention. It is only a decent climb rate that this plane achieves, so you don't want to equip any bombs. As I said, it's not a very good idea. Turn time is only average with flaps, and without flaps she is below average. The flaps only rip off at 710 kilometers an hour, so you can basically almost always, except in the later ends of the dive, but you can always use those flaps. They are great. Roll rate is excellent. That is also a main strength of this plane. It gives you extra survivability next to the speeds in a dive and diving to escape and survive. This plane can also roll and force an overshoot, which is very possible to achieve in this plane. So yeah, it's nice, but the elevator authority is rubbish, really is, and it makes for less effective roll, unfortunately. But you have that a little bit with all Doras, although the Antons have a better elevator authority than the Doras, unfortunately. For the Doras, because these are supposed to be the creme de la creme of the 190s, but alas. Well, they're still very good, but I really like them. But yeah, they have strict rules to follow if you want to be successful in these planes. I'm not always following them in this. I also show you the problems in the plane. For example, I don't make this shot here because I don't have elevator authority. So the D-30 lives to fight another day. Fortunately, I did hit him already badly, but with those jets as well that we are fighting in this match, what are those things again? The P-59s, which can turn very well as well. It's problematic with the Dora to face those planes. You really have to be disciplined in this thing. Boom and zooming is the way to go, but if you're already in a situation like this, you do have to make use of what you have, and it's not always functional. But anyway, if you're a patient guy, you should still do very well on this plane. Really, boom and zooming needs discipline, as you may know. Often people say that it is the simplest flight form to do, but it is also one of the hardest because of the discipline involved, especially in a plane with limited capabilities otherwise. Yeah, so overall maneuverability with average turn time and excellent roll rate is decent. Overheating in this plane, thank God, is not an issue at all. You can web to your heart's content, it will almost never overheat, and that is a definite advantage. Durability in the plane is good. It can take a hit or two. As you see, I'm quite damaged and I'm still okay. That is partly to do that I am not damaged in the wings, and only one of my elevator surfaces is light yellow. The vertical stabilizer seems to be hit as well here, but all in all, this plane is very oh, oops, yeah, and the small adjustments at the end when you have some speed under your belt are difficult in the plane, but oh well. So yeah, as I said, good firepower, one of the strengths, with an excellent ammo load. The speeds in the plane are great, good handling in the dive, great top speed in the dive, jet speeds basically. Bomb loads if you want, for versatility. Great performance for the energy retention, and still the acceleration is also very good to good. Not supported by great climb rate or anything. Climb rate is just decent. and the roll rate is excellent. Those are the great things. The overheating is also a nice advantage. Boom and zooming in this plane, as I said, is the way to go. If you want to die the least amount of times, you have to find your niche in the boom and zooming, being disciplined. And sometimes when you're faced with a plane like this that could match my speed, I could not outrun it. I have a teammate incoming. So here we are playing the bait and trying to stall him out, of course. But as I said, in stall maneuvers, the turning around in the stall maneuver is not spectacular in this plane. So we get hit a few times by the P-59. He's about to stall out and my ally comes in to finish the job. And yeah, so we survive here. We survive here. And live on to go for another day. Go against the B-17. We put him on fire and we get the kill shot. Although the B-17 is still firing at us from all the way back there. He wants to get revenge. Now in our damaged state after 4 kills. We are 3 kills actually in this match. I wanted to count this plane, but yeah, I will not spoil it. You will see for yourself. So we try to go for the head-on, get an early kill, hopefully. I do miss my shots. I don't have the best control anymore over this plane. But it's still functional. But I decide here to dive away. He's 800 kilometers away. When I go down here, I will probably... I was extending above a kilometer, but he's fast, he's mean, and he's coming in. We want to outrun it, but it's not gonna happen. I didn't have enough altitude, I don't have enough speed, and yeah, so I'm gonna turn. But not turning for turning, I'm gonna set up for a rolling match, hopefully a rolling scissors, which should give us some opportunity to shoot because of our excellent roll rate. Now here, negative pitch not enough, but here we get a great shot. Yes! Critical. Probably a critical on the rudder. Unfortunately, not the rest of the tail, seems like, because he still seems to be flying. And if he still has... it looks like we shot off the rudder completely. But he still has his elevators. How that happened... you know, very lucky of the guy. Yeah. So still, but we here have the opportunity because we can outmaneuver him most of the time. He will only have very short firing lines here, like here, but only shortly. I get him there, and I make a mistake. I roll too much with the elevator still pushed in. Even though I don't have much elevator control, it's still too much for that. So unfortunately I messed that up. But you saw the possibilities there. He was overshooting. If I hadn't had made that mistake, I would have been golden. Best squad, Terror of the Sky, Bulletproof and Balancer. 84,000 Silver Lions and 10,000 research points. I'll see you in the conclusion. Hey guys, so here we are after the match. Now the Focke-Wulf 190 D-9 is an excellent fun plane. Great boom and zoomer. She can energy fight a little bit, although it's not my favorite plane for energy fighting because of the elevator control, which is often something I use. You can reuse rudder as well, but the rudder isn't spectacular either. It's just boom and zooming is better in that sense. Keeping this plane fast. Her main strength is the speed. You have the good finishing power for boom and zooming as well, with excellent ammo lows, great energy retention, and the roll rate is excellent. And for the rest, the overheating is not an issue, which is also very nice. You can use that in the zoom climbs, a lot of war emergency power. For the rest, the performance it's all decent. You all heard it. It's a plane, but the main thing is the elevator control. That is, for me, it's the main downside on this plane. I really like the speeds, I like the dive performance, I like the finishing power, and I like the roll rate for defensive flying. We should have, I was very unlucky with that Spitfire in the end there. I got a crit on his rudder. Usually you also take off some elevator surfaces, or you take the whole tail off in those sense, especially with the Minengeschoss, but somewhere a Minengeschoss should have landed in that general vicinity. Usually you blow off the tail. I didn't have that luck, unfortunately. I just shot off the rudder blade and he was able to maneuver with his elevator. My teammate killed him afterwards, so we won the match, but unfortunately I died beforehand and got 3 kills and a death instead of 4 kills, unfortunately. But that's how it goes sometimes. It's all in the game. But I found it a very interesting fight to show you, to highlight the roll rate even with a damaged plane there. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, become part of this community. If you are already a subscriber, don't forget to like the video, do leave me a comment, and if you really feel like helping out today, make sure to share the video with your friends and let them know about the channel.